What's going on? What's going on, family? This is your girl, Official Majsty, your host for the UNAPOLOG3TiC Podcast. We are here once again, dropping some nuggets of knowledge onto you. Knowledge is infinite and knowledge is wealth. We're on our way to wealth. We are receiving wisdom from everything that we do, knowing that we can learn from everything and every person that comes in our path. I just have had a few things resonating with me. I wanted to go ahead and go over a few things with you guys as I learned new information from different sources after my own private research and, applying it to realistic situations that I've gone through in my own life. I then eat that knowledge and apply it where it goes. After tested, I regurgitate that message out to the collective. My goal is not to persuade nor convince. These are real life instances that I have come to terms with, and after testing and being tested, feel the need to dish it back out because these things are necessary. If a person lacks knowledge and lives without understanding after being born into darkness, this man is no longer judged by the actions of the vessel. The vessel is just the vessel. A good man, even the best of them, with the greatest deeds. And even if this person walked the earth attempting to do good and not bad, the deeds of this man aren't counted as good because the vessel is unclean. The vessel is unclean. And so, this is a situation, and I said it a few different ways, and I'm going to go over some of the notes that I have down and then, touch points base to base with that. But in this situation, I had to come to the realization that, you hear all the time people saying, I want to be a good Samaritan, or he died a good man. She was a good woman, well-versed woman. Everybody that is a good person is just so. You may have done some things and, worked from some nonprofits, gave to other people graciously, helped a lot of people along the way. But to me, it boils down to what are the motives of a person? What are the motives of a community of people? We have a lot of controversy going on in the media, especially concerning churches and our higher advisory. Be careful who you follow. Be careful who you swear by, because you have a lot of people that they'll hear something online or on a podcast or something like that, and they'll take it word for word. They'll take it as the end all be all. Everything that you hear is not the end all be all. First and foremost, you really need to know that maybe 20% of the things that you, if that, maybe 10% of the things that you hear or observe online are 100% fact, because, all I'm saying is, what is fact? An extra vote or two on a like-minded subject? So you have to apply these things to your own life. I did a post earlier that states, eat the meat and spit the bones out. Eat the meat and spit the bones out, meaning therefore, eat what is substance, apply what is substance to your own life, because you're not that person per se. So it may, what may work for somebody, what may work for somebody may not work for you. And you have to keep that in mind. You have to keep that in mind that you must form your own systems and strategies and put these things to work where it applies to your own situations and the things that you're actually going through, because your mental health and your coping skills may not be as strong as that person, or vice versa. Yours might be stronger, where they may have needed more of something and you may need less. And so you have to apply these things to the right factors on your life. Light and darkness cannot exist together. It's just not a thing. So, and I say that in pretense of how the word says you can't put new wine in old wineskins, for the old wineskins will burst. They cannot cohabitate in the same place for long periods of time. Yeah, you can place a light in a room, a dark room, of course. But as soon as you place that light in that dark room, what is it going to do? It's going to expose everything in the room. So like, I was talking to somebody the other day and we got into the same conversation. And, many people are realizing that they're a light. And lights are placed in dark places to do just that. And it's something that is extended in a way that you may not even have to do anything. Let's just give an example. You may be dealing with a certain community or whatnot, and they ask you to go out somewhere or something like that. Well, they may be going through dark times in their life. And when I say dark, I mean depression, stress, worry. They allow things to catch up with them. They allow things to take over their energy, and instead of, spitting that back out or reverting that energy and using it for good, they soak it up and they become or embody darkness in some type of way. And so like my thing is, if you walk into that room with that community of people and y'all are at an event or something like that, and you're the only person you're the only person with light in the room, not only are you going to stand out, however, but also the other people see it. I mean, the other people can feel that energy. And to someone that is in darkness, that may be struggling with certain things or have imperfections that only exist in their own mind and nobody else may see, they may be confident on the outside, but dead and dirty on the inside. And so you being that bright old light, when you enter the room, it takes attention off of them. And so you have to realize that not only did you have that light, not only were you walking in the club looking bad, looking like money, smell like money, but to them, you're taking away from what they already lacked. They may have been fighting, trying to stay in the conversation. And you walk in, now all attention is on you. Of course, they're going to feel some kind of way. And not only are they going to feel some kind of way, if you're going to this event and it's a community event based, birds of a feather flock together. So like if you come in the room and you naturally have this light that they lack, and they were already struggling for attention, now you done came in and sucked up all the attention out of the room. Now they became a hater. Now they're in the motion of signing a contract to dim your light automatically. Everything that you do in their eyes is going to fail. Everything that you say, they're going to have some opposition to it. Every way that you walk, they're going to be trying right by your side, got something slick to say or something like that. And so, you have to learn how to spot these things out, because it may not be a sense where if you're outnumbered that you can, go against the grain. You're only one person. Let's not forget. However, never forget that if you have light, then you have protection. And one of those protective tools is your thought process. If you know that these people don't like you, who the heck sits in a group of people that don't like them? Move on. Because it's apparent that whatever low vibration that they're lingering on, you can't even hear what they whispering about, because you got to question it your doggone self. And so it's about, changing that perception and looking at things a different way. So that's really what this is going to be about today. So light and dark cannot exist together. Darkness flees from light. So if attempted to place together, the vessel will break after so long. When I eat, I wash the dish, because if dirt is left on the dish, it can gain bacteria after a while. And you don't want to put new food on a dirty plate. A light in a dark room is no longer a dark room. Once light enters it, the light will illuminate the entire space, causing everything in the room to be exposed. And so I also want to tap back in and say, being good is not being light. Being good or being a good person is something that you had to try at. It's something that you had to make certain motion in. If you have light, or if you are a light worker, that's something that's in you. Now, the amount of light that you let off and how bright you're radiating, that's a difference. But that comes from you cleansing the soul. That comes from you cleansing that shadow person. That comes from you cleansing from within, going within and cleaning your houses out and becoming pure of light, going higher in your vibration. So just because a person says that they're a good man or a good woman doesn't mean that they have the light. We've all seen that. What love got to do with it? With Anna Mae said she came home to her mom and she was like, he said I got a flame, mama. It's something that attracts people, attracts all things. And it doesn't matter whether it's light or dark. It attracts all things. The one thing that everybody has in common is the necessity of the sun. Everybody wants to see sunlight at some point in their life. It's attracted to it. Not because anybody told you or no. It's the biggest light in the world. So you're attracted to it. Okay? When there is no knowledge, there's no understanding. Where there is no understanding, there's no vision. Where there is no vision, the person will perish, making them an agent of darkness, meaning someone without the knowledge of the word. And by the word, I'm talking about the word of God. I'm not necessarily going into a biblical sense to speak so firmly upon the Bible, because it itself was written by man's hands. So at the end of the day, if you are a reader of the Bible, it does state that the word is God in general, period. Without the paper, without anything, the word is God. And if you believe in the word of God, then God is in you. All right. That transitions the man from within. So to be a believer of the word can transition you within, inwardly. That expands and cleans the man and then shows the world outwardly. So let me back that up. You mean to tell me if I take the time to me, myself, because can't nobody else do it. If I take the time to go inwardly and commune with my Father, it will show outwardly. If I'm starting a new diet and I change my whole diet to the foods that are, I'm talking about chia seeds, flax seeds. Come on now. If we're changing the way, more fruits for a healthy sugar instead of a bad sugar like of Mountain Dew or so on and so forth. No issues against Mountain Dew, just in case we get a sponsor. We ain't trying to do no doubt. No, ooh. Okay, so anyways, but to change the dietary plan, if I'm eating better, it's going to show on my body. My skin's going to begin to get clearer, and my body's going to begin to change and mold into a more healthier body. I have more energy. My breathing will be better. If I'm eating better, I'm living a healthier life. This goes the same way. It's the same way. So cleaning up the inward shows outwardly. Transitions a man from within. Understanding of this word is the doorway or portal it creates for itself. If you can understand it, you believe it. Hold on, well, let's back that up because I'm reading over notes now. Okay, so it's saying that, by you becoming a believer of the word and understanding it and actually believing it creates a portal. So once the word is in you, some things are not left up to you. The word is able to go inside. And once it's entered that doorway, you hear the older community speaking on how once somebody has become a believer, if they go back to their old ways, it will be 10 times worse. And so it's a fact because, for one, this is a gift for you. This is a helper. This is somebody that comes and something that comes, energy that comes over you that cleanses you from the inside. So in those times where you may be confused, in those times where you may feel weak or you may feel unknowledged about something, it will activate and allow these things to be magnetically brought to you. I'm not speaking to you this in a way that I'm researching over this. I'm speaking to you because I've gone through this. This is something I've gone through recently, and once you become a believer, this is something that you will go through time and time again, and as long as you're on this earth, because there is a consistent refining in the spirit to consistently make you better. That is the ultimate goal, to rise and be the best version of you as possible, because once you are that best version of you as possible, you can carry out things and cast down demons and move mountains and do all of these things that the word speaks on, but has been a dead code to us for a long time. I've been watching a lot of inspiration. I've been watching a lot of podcasts, getting a lot of new oncoming information, the right kind of information, and the right kind for me. And it's a huge thing to be able to have guidance and it just be given. Once I started surrendering certain things, sacrificing certain things, cutting off certain things, different things became available to me. I had to make space for them. So it allowed me to know that if you full of BS, you're just full of BS. You might be constipated. You might be worldly constipated, and the Spirit wants to spiritually relieve you of these things. It'll all make sense once you put it together. And it's a lot of us that, we look at things to be cliche, or we look at things to be, oh, well, yeah, I know that that's true, and I believe all of that, but I'm tied up in something right now. I can't be so holy. I'm not asking you to be holy. I'm asking you to be free. And yeah, it is a process, but once you get the process started and you get it going, it shows you that God in the universe only wants the best for you. Only wants the best for you. And so once you start really, really believing it, a part of that is believing in yourself, believing in your value, knowing your worth, knowing what your capabilities are, challenging yourself, putting yourself to test, tossing yourself out there, not being afraid to fail, knowing that other people are watching. Why? Because that is a part of the journey. If I can't fail in front of you, then you can never learn from me. Come on now. And so you can't be afraid for the ups and downs that goes along with any type of commitment that you've made, it, any type of friendship, relationship, business proposition. If there is no failure, then there is no success. Most success comes from predominant failure in your life because you didn't know no better. You didn't know. So once it's heard and perceived, once the word is heard and perceived, you choose if you want to receive it and consume it. Once consumed, it is in you and can never come out. Forcing one to understand what was once not visible by eyes. To understand the word is to believe the word. It doesn't go any other way. Once you start understanding, you have decided that you're going to understand what this is, because you can talk to many people throughout the day and they won't understand a doggone thing that you're saying, knowing that they fully intellectual. It's because they're not ready. And if they're not ready, those are the signs that you need to take heed that you may be casting your pearls into swine, because they're not ready to hear you. They hear you talking, but they don't understand what you're saying. And so to understand the word is to believe the word. To believe the word is to believe in God. To believe in God is to have faith. Faith is the belief in things unseen. To have faith is to activate the Spirit. Once the Spirit is activated, it reconstructs the person's DNA, infusing you with a new code. We're calling ancient code. These are things that, used to actually be passed down. You have those older couples and stuff like that, especially the older men, I will say, that would tell the quote unquote war stories and things of that nature, or sit you down and just tell you a story of your ancestors or seniority in your family group, and how you may come in contact with certain things. And when it comes, kind of just giving you that pre-warning of this is to come. If when you see it, you'll know what it is, because I've told you already. Be prepared, because it's in you. Why? Because it's in our bloodline. It's a lot of things that I've realized that people are going through right now that on the cause of, because they don't know who they are. You may know who you are in present day, but you might not know who you were, who your ancestors were. You may not know where your bloodline goes back to. You don't know if you have the birthright of kings and queens. And so, my thing is, none of us do. Nobody does. Not in this era right now. Nobody does. And so you're faced with the fact of, hey, I'm maturing. Life is lifing. And how do I view me? What do I stand on? Everybody hits that moment in time where they're forced to realize time stops for nobody. And since it's man-made, we work in a society that is governed by that. So yes, there are certain standards and regulations and rules that we have to apply to, but just like they showed us on the Matrix, and it was something that a brother the other day pointed out to me, and it was a huge thing. I had heard this podcast before, but he was talking about the Matrix, and when the guy Neo had went back in, this was at a time where he didn't no longer need to be hooked up. He could just slide back off in that thing, and he was going back into the Matrix and everything like that, and he still wasn't all the way 100 good, but he got distracted at something, and then when he told him to, Morpheus told him to turn around, and as soon as he turned around, there was a gun pointed at his face. And so you can be in the midst of everybody. It could be 1,000 people in a room, and you be the only one with light. This can happen. This can happen. This can happen. So if you're hearing this, it's just your time to hear it, because you need to know that it is become a rarity. It used to be abundant in people walking over this earth, but the earth has been dissolved. It's dissolving by people with sin and things of that. Not people, energies of sin and evil. And so it's corrupt. And so it's up to light workers and people that are of the collective that have different talents, hobbies, passions, gifts in the spirit. And we'll get deeper on things of that nature as I get more knowledgeable in this, or walking into my aura and walking into my full birthright, to point people in the right direction and allow you to know, no, you're not crazy. If you have a gift, don't be scared of it. Don't be scared of it. Learn what it is and how you can use it, and how you can be of assistance, because ultimately all the assignment is the same for everybody that's a light worker, and that is to reconstruct the earth, reconstruct the womb, reconstruct the tares in the harvest, one person at a time. You have different types of gifts. You have people that have foresight. You have different people that have ancient knowledge in their DNA. You have different people that have frequencies in them that are healing, that that can tell us what is to come, that can tell us what has happened, and just by second nature. You know what I'm saying? It's just there. They may not know why. You know what I'm saying? People that can see a different spirits and demonic activity in a way that is not exposed to everybody else. You have people that feel certain things, as knows as far as changing weather, changing news, things dealing with technology, AI, the advancement of things. And so, you have to activate into what is pulling you to go in a certain area. And so, this normally is for folks that if you're good at almost anything that you do and you can be great at it, so much so that you can't decide or you become bored with many things, chances are you're a light worker. Chances are that there's a bigger purpose, that you've gone through a longer journey, that you've gone through a more destructive path, and still made it out the fire. Chances are you're a believer that has strayed away and now is returning back to the flock. And so if you're being called to a higher purpose, all of us go through a season of doubt. All of us go through a season of hurt and pain. All of us go through a season of reconstruction and re-identifying. And so it's up to you to decide on whether you're going to normalize your struggles and imperfections and fears, or if God provides a bridge over troubled waters, are you going to walk over the bridge? Are you going to pick up your crown? Are you going to accept the invitation? Because you're not left behind. Stop feeling like you're left behind. Ain't nobody left you, because time really doesn't exist. And let me tell you, I serve a really, really, really big God. A really, really, really big God that does really big things. And so if time really doesn't exist, then that means that God is not working in that in which man has made or constructed to rear off the minds of the chosen ones. You need to know that just like you woke up today, you can be in a mansion tomorrow. You can have 1 million tomorrow. It just depends on, are you the one that's going to take the initiative to take the right step to get closer to yourself and God? Once you are aligned, I ain't talking about doing no other jumping through hoops. We be thinking it's such a hard process to do this and to do that. Sometimes it just takes surrendering pride, surrendering the ego, letting go of things that are not serving us. I know that you're used to it. I know that you're familiar with it. I know that it felt good 15 months ago. Ain't that much fun in the world, people. I promise you, joy feels better. Joy feels better than happiness and fun does any day. I can be happy for you in a moment and still be hurting deeply inside. Joy, you cannot receive joy if you have that dirtiness inside of you, if you have that malice, if you holding that grudge, if you are being held down by worldly destruction that is trying to keep you from your blessing. That is a decision, not a placement. Because we ourselves determine on whether or not we're going to walk around and smile and exert positive energy and back into this world. Even if somebody is messing with you. If you stoop to the level of something that you're above in energy, you'll hurt more than the person that sent the energy towards you. Because you know better. If you have went through any type of healing or whatever the case may be and still are able to get caught in a depressed like manner, of course, everybody has a fall every now and then, but you don't get stuck in it. Depression comes from sitting in mess, sitting in anger, sitting in sadness, sitting in heartbreak. You got to shake it off. Stop letting energies win. We be so quick to blame it on the devil and all that. Sometimes it's you. Sometimes it's you, because you've gotten comfortable in believing what people said about you. You've gotten comfortable in believing the things that have came against you. You've gotten comfortable into making an excuse instead of getting up, taking up your cross and walking, dusting it off, walking on out. And everything doesn't have to be spiritual because everybody is not religious. But everybody's aware that there's a higher power that governs the spirit and the soul, not this world. The governors of this world may be the political party. Yes, that's one thing that it was invented for. So that before you decide to just outright praise God through time, you have to worry about being on time and being in regulation and being standardized and being theological and being logical in world standards. So that there's a gap in between you and God. That's not true. That's not true. When I look up, I don't see the political party. But on our day-to-day, on earth, on our day-to-day basis, in our daily lives, we're forced to feel that way. We're forced to feel like we can't make it to the next section because something's in the way of that. We can't get a loan or a grant because something's in the way of that. We can't get good credit because something's in the way of that. Well, I tell you what, we're going into a situation where all that victim crap, it's old news. Once you pass 28, I ain't gonna get 30. Once you pass 28, folks ain't around here like, oh, we'll help and come together. No, it's not that. You just got to learn how to put them big girl drawers on, them big boy briefs on, and going on about your business and learn. And because now people got kids, now you got jobs, now you have different responsibilities that you got to tackle into. And so at the end of the day, if the next generation is going to be able to feed off of knowledge, let's at least leave good knowledge. Let's at least leave better content for them to be able to find out how to get layers off of them. I can definitely not promise that, we're not going to still have generational curses and things of that nature, because in order for us to have balance, in order for there to be good, it has to be bad. And so we're balancing the scales again. If the scales are balanced, things might go in your favor. And so what I'm saying to you is, in everything that you do, eat the meat, spit the bones out, waking up to the fact that it does exist. And that you may be going through this situation because God is trying to tell you something. We'll only get there if we connect and get there together. And I'd hate to tell you this, but everybody's not going to go. I'd hate to be the one to sit here and lie to you and tell you, yeah, we can save everybody. We can da-da-da-da. But no, because this right here, this is not for everybody. This is for my chosen ones. And so just like somebody has been posting these types of messages and things like that of this nature to help me to get to the person I am today. Shout out to Pretty Boss TV. She's doing her thing on YouTube, Patreon, and many other social outlets. It's time to wake up, people. In order to love me, you got to first love you. And I'm going to end with that. This has been another episode of the UNAPOLOG3TiC Podcast. Please tap in. We are The Monarchy with 2 I's instead of a Y on the end on Patreon. I will be posting this on YouTube as well, and short clips on YouTube and IG. As well as fan base, new fan base. I'm under Shantira Saunders on that one. You guys, let's link up. Let's connect. I will also make sure that all of this information is listed in the description under the video. And thank you once again for supporting. I want you to keep your head up.